Thank you so much for listening. If you'd like to offer dana, then please do go to justthiszen.org/giving. Your support really does make a huge difference. Thank you so much.
Welcome again, everybody. I wonder what happens to you when you hear the statement, knowing life is short, day after day, moment after moment, enjoy your life. And this is Pema Chodron quoting Suzuki Roshi. Day after day, moment after moment, enjoy your life. And for me, I imagine having a gentle hand placed on my elbow. Then the statement is gently kind of whispered, and I experience an out-breath, some relief, some gentle stopping, some possibility, and perhaps a lingering sadness somewhere. It's very different to the verse of the Hahn, awake, awake, don't waste this precious life. This one for me is more of a kind of caress, a quiet possibility. In Not Always So, Suzuki Roshi says, the only way is to enjoy your life. And in Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind, he says, it is necessary for us to keep the constant way. Zen is not some kind of excitement, but concentration on our usual everyday routine. If you become too busy and too excited, your mind becomes rough and ragged. This is not good. Do you recognize this rough raggedness? Perhaps even now? He says, if possible, try to always be calm and joyful and keep yourself from excitement. Keep yourself from excitement. And I wonder if Suzuki Roshi is saying here that excitement is the near enemy of joy. I recently heard Frank Ostaseski describe exuberance as the near enemy of joy. Isn't that interesting? If possible, try to always be calm and joyful and keep yourself from excitement. And then he goes on to say, usually we become busier and busier, especially in our modern world. He was speaking in the 60s. If we become interested in some excitement or in our own change, we will become completely involved in our busy life and we will be lost. That if your mind is calm and constant, you can keep yourself away from the noisy world, even though you are in the midst of it. I wonder what enjoy means for you when you hear the invitation to enjoy something. What do you think that is, and what's your experience of enjoyment in your mind and your body? Interestingly, the English word enjoy comes from the late 14th century French word enjoin, meaning to give joy, rejoice, take delight in. Just recently, I've been going through old family documents, looking at what to leave behind for others to find when I'm no longer here, and what to share now. It's autumn, and I too am autumn, and I'm sweeping the leaves. I came across the school reports for Eleanor and Ben, my children who are now in their 40s. With Ben's permission, I will read you his form teacher's report when he was 11 years old. Ben has shown a willingness to study. During the year, he has accepted and reacted positively to the rules and discipline of the school, and has always been cooperative and well-mannered and courteous. Ben has tried to get on well with the rest of the form. I wonder how successful he was in that. Regarding form administration, he has been well organised at all times. He has always tried to be dependable and self-disciplined. There have been many occasions this year when Ben has shown initiative. And then I read his report a year later, when he was 12, and it was exactly the same. I think it was taken from a bank of reports that describe certain pupils. I have no idea if he showed more initiative at the age of 12, or whether he succeeded in getting on better with the rest of the form than when he was 11. So I wonder, where is the joy, the enjoyment in this report? Where in these words is the quirky, funny, creative, kind boy I remember? When I look at Eleanor and Ben's reports collectively, I'm very aware what is most valued in our education system: control, effort, discipline, and order. And we inherited this from our Victorian ancestors. Just round the corner from us, there's a building which says it was designed to check vice and encourage virtue. We confuse schooling with education, and we take part in a conspiracy of joylessness. And having said this, I have read some reports that are more warm, personalised and valuing of enjoyment. And having been a teacher myself, I want to acknowledge the particular pressures teachers face in being part of this system. And I appreciate the many wonderful teachers who do nurture flowers that spring and thrive, at least for a while, in the cracks in the pavement of schooling. On Saturday, many of you will have joined the Mahasangha for the rich offerings related to the parameter of joyful effort. Judy shared that our individual orientation to joy and effort is in part formed by our experiences in childhood, in our families, and in the society into which we are born. She talked about how her parents' efforts, following the end of the Second World War and during a time of food rationing, like many others in the 50s, was to rebuild, regenerate, and forget. I wonder, what joy and effort legacy do you hold? I feel Suzuki Roshi, in his teaching, is pointing to freedom within the lives we find ourselves in, where we are, and whatever our situation. He often describes our practice as very formal, but with that formality, we have informal mind, a soft, flexible mind. Perhaps he is pointing to poise, the kind of poise of a surfer on a turbulent wave, an essential ease in the midst of things. I recently read a book by Ed Brown, the former Tenzo of Tassajara, and he quoted Chuang Tzu, a Taoist teacher. The quote is, "Easy is right. Begin right and you are easy. Continue easy and you are right. The right way is to forget the right way, and to forget the way is easy." This could be a lifetime's koan for me. Easy is right. Begin right and you are easy. Continue easy and you are right. The right way is to forget the right way, and to forget the way is easy. This is a complete contrast to our industrial society, what we've inherited from our ancestors. Ed Brown says, ease is one of the traditional Buddhist virtues. Ease is a feeling of happiness or well-being, a sense of making yourself at home in your body and mind, and welcoming your experience home to your heart. in this precious life, with these moments we have, how can we cultivate ease in our practice so we're not so driven and busy? Recently, Trudy and I have been loving a song by a singer called Josephine Foster, and we've played it the last few mornings. And we have a program in the UK called Desert Island Discs, and the people who are invited to be on it choose 8 discs that they would take with them if they were stranded on a desert island, and they talk about their lives while they're sharing their discs. And for me, it's like, what 8 songs would you take with you to eternity? And right now, Little Life, which is about this vast life, by Josephine Foster, is one of the songs I would take, and I would recommend you listen to it on YouTube. It goes like this. These are the words. I'm not going to sing them to you tonight. Little life, how did you be so lucky? Little life, how did you be so glad? Songs arrive even in the mailbox. Songs keep coming, even happy to be sad. If you were a bird, how would you fly? If you were a butterfly, if you were a penguin under the sea, if you were a person just like me. Songs arrive even in the mailbox. Beauty arrives in all its forms. If only we could actually apprehend them when they arrive. Songs keep coming, even happy to be sad. Beauty includes everything. And if you were a person just like me, how would you fly? What would flying be for you? What would enjoyment be for you? I'm going to finish with a wonderful quote by John O'Donoghue, which I think speaks to all of this. He says, "Even a wounded world is feeding us. Even a wounded world holds us, giving us moments of wonder and joy. I choose joy over despair, not because I have my head in the sand, but because joy is what the earth gives me daily, and I must return the gift." And I've made a mistake here because this is by Robin Wall Kimmerer. Sorry about this. This is the John O'Donoghue piece. If you allow yourself to be the person that you are, then everything will come into rhythm. If you live the life you love, you'll receive shelter and blessings. Sometimes the great famine of blessing in and around us derives from the fact that we are not living the life we love. Rather, we are living the life that is expected of us. We have fallen out of rhythm with a secret signature and light of our own nature. So day after day, moment after moment, I wish that you can enjoy your life, and I'd really enjoy meeting you now to explore some of these things that come up when we think about how to enjoy and appreciate our lives. Thank you very much. Hi, Bridget.
Hi, Josh. It's so good to be with you again. And I'm so grateful for these because I've been feeling particularly fragile at this point. I'm thinking that I may need to change residences again or move closer to my son. I mean, as I'm aging, I was inspired by your remarks about looking through old papers, and how do you come back to this or enjoy your life thing every day? I mean, there must be times when you have had feelings of fragility too. How do you recenter or get back to it?
Well, in these talks, I'm really talking to myself as well as you, and I experience all the fragilities and difficulties of this world. But I'm grateful that I can be reminded As I said, sometimes it's like a gentle touch on the elbow, and there's a caress, there's a whisper, and
Mhm.
there are words like you could enjoy writing this talk,
Mhm.
you could relax a little bit. So I think it's more. I'm with you, Bridget, that we we're in a community that supports us to remember some of the possibilities.
Okay.
I
All
think.
right. Well, I'm grateful, and I hope you will provide the names and titles of those poems to Cassie so that we can
I will. Yes, I
prove them,
will. They're
as
very.
well as the Josephine Foster song name. Thank you.
Yes, it's very, very heartening. It's very heartening that you've come up and actually named. It's not easy. This life is not easy. And how can we, in a life that's not easy, find some ease? And I think that's.
That's our goal, to help each other along that path.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hi, Becky.
Hello, Josh. So glad to have you here. I was glad that you were speaking of some things that do interweave with the paramitas of joyful effort. It was interesting to me that one of the things I experienced was that the experience that I've had through Appamada on Friday morning after meditation, we have a thing where the people who are in the Zendo do I get the names wrong, but the working, the cleaning of
Oh, yeah.
there.
The Soji and the Samu and.
Right. And Samu is doing it in your place of practice or wherever else that is. And it was one of the times I really, I quite got it about using the slowness, not slowness quite, but not going at it so much as to just be with it of many things. And it was one of the places where I got it about joyful effort. And so having it in the paramitas where it expanded it further, looking at what is a pattern of things that come back for me over and over, of ways I want to be with people. That one of the things that's almost for part of my life, it felt driven, but now it's just like recognizing this is what I do. This is, and so it helped me. Sometimes I look at something that feels like it's not going right in some way, and that all these people are suffering because it isn't, and so on. And if it's a small enough community or opportunity to have a few people come around something, and I have these wonderful ideas, and then I get excited about it, and there's the excited part that gets in the way. It both, it gives me the part of like, oh, let's see, what can I imagine? What can I see sufficiently to start with that even? But in my work through my life, right, I was being paid to do something that sometimes did and sometimes did not have that, but I would always weave something in there for it with the people, whether it was the people I worked with or the people I was there to assist in some kind of a way.
Hmm. What I appreciate is that it's courageous noticing. When you talked about, people having difficulties, then you notice, you come back to yourself, you notice what's happening inside you. You notice the excitement, which maybe isn't so helpful. So you're kind of you're working with it. That's the invitation. What happens when this happens? How do I respond? What's my default position, and what's called up, and then what's called for?
Mm.
Something happens, something's called up, and then actually what is actually called for here, which would provide some ease for me and some possibility for others.
Well, certainly the stuff about patience is an important part, because I can have an idea that would be interesting for me, and my perception of what the people that I'm offering it to. I live in a assisted living facility,
Yeah.
and there's somewhere between 60 and 80 of us here at a time, and so obviously it's not everybody, but how about enough people to experience themselves as a group, to that kind of thing. But if I get a particular focus without being with it, without talking to a couple of other people here who have the same sense of, well, not the same, but they tend to notice other people instead of just being in their own pain and struggles. Yeah, so that's one of the things I recognized when I sort of stepped back and said, no, don't just go and try to make this happen.
Yeah.
Invite others and their sense of it. And also, because I have my own stuff, I can't be the leader of it.
No.
I want enough people there that they feel like we all are leaders for each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, I just wanted to say how much I appreciate about what we are offered here, in all of the teachings that touch that. And it has certainly felt wonderful to find what things from that, without it seeming like evangelistic or something like that.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate the way that you're warmly wondering in your practice about your life.
Yes.
I can see the fruits of your practice.
Well, it is the fruit of yours as well.
Yeah.
Because you and so many others bring this stuff. And yes, we all need to remember to remind people where we are at any given time, because somehow it flies away completely periodically.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. So we need each other.
Yes.
We can't
Yes,
do
we
it by ourselves. And I really appreciate your steady, thoughtful practice, how it's moving through you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hi, Joel.
Hi, Josh. As ever, this is a really meaningful topic for me that you have brought up. And what is jumping out is the part about enthusiasm or excitement being the near enemy of joy. And that's something that I bumped up against in my life more than once. I and I have a lot of questions about it, and how it is that I get the energy to organize thoughts, to do my to write a grant proposal when I was a fundraiser, to write a talk when I'm going to give a Dharma talk with Appamada. These kinds of things. I depend on a certain kind of energy surge to help me organize my thoughts and to help me. I depend on a kind of a recognition. It's like, oh yeah, this fits together, and the pleasure that comes with that. But then I often have found in meeting with other people and in sharing ideas with other people, and professionally and otherwise, that enthusiasm runs a little bit over the edge. There's an expression I heard one time that you get out over your skis. I've never skied, so I don't know. But that apparently is not a good thing to do if you're skiing. To shift your weight too far forward. And what I was thinking as you were quoting that part is, does this require denying a part of ourselves? If and what I felt coming up was the little kid in me, who's still alive, who was told to tone it down a notch. Not be so loud, not be running around so much, that kind of thing. And I feel like I don't want to turn my back on that little kid, and yet, as I say, I've had the capacity to see that the necessity of having that energy, and also the hurt that comes from feeling like I've gone too far or done, express something that makes others uncomfortable mostly. So how is there
the first thing I think it is, what a great question and what a great response to a statement or a talk. I think that, and you express this, in your own talks. It's an invitation to explore it, and to see, and to really get intimate with what that might be. Maybe you will probably always have that particular energy if you're working on a project or something, because it's a part of your process. I kind of wonder in these questions, not specifically to you, but where's the suffering? And I was thinking, and I'm just thinking out loud here of the idea in Buddhism of the bank, where you have your fire and you nurture the energy, but if you don't contain it, it becomes not as powerful, not as useful. And I'm really curious about this myself, genuine inquiry about, everybody has a certain energy way. So how do we relate to that statement? And you've identified a little bit where, sometimes it sort of isn't of service to you, that extra bit of energy. So maybe that's the point where there's an inquiry for you about when it's
exactly, yeah. That's what I think you're pointing to for me, and I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, I mean, we have such beautiful energies, everybody in this group, everybody in the world. Look at children, and their excitement and their energy, and so I'm really curious about this statement. um, about joy and excitement. So let's continue the inquiry. It's an important one.
Thank you, Josh.
Yeah, thank you. Hi, Gail.
Hello.
It's good to meet you.
Nice to be here. As I was listening to your talk, a few things popped up for me, and one is sort of discerning the difference between joy and excitement. And joy to me feels more contained, like more content. And I try to imagine going into excitement, and I couldn't help but think that brain wiring has to do with, so the excitement almost felt like a pull towards desiring more, or
Right.
having an
Yeah.
attachment to
Yeah.
whatever I'm excited about. So it almost took me out of the state of, there's a state of joy, and then there's excitement. Felt like it was just pulling me to another level.
Yeah.
Which then, and so I'm wondering sort of if, the enemy part, or the part where excitement can get in the way is related to that it, it just sort of hooks on to those addictive parts of us that we, it's like, this feels so good, we want more. So I don't know, just very interesting though, to really think about and discern, what happens from joy to excitement. And yeah,
I really appreciate your perspective on this, and what I'm really enjoying is, the talk spoke to me, the invitation from Suzuki Roshi, but there's a lot of exploration to be done, and I really appreciate that perspective of something about desire, something about it. It kind of takes you away from that joy container which you're describing. Yeah, yeah. So that's I hope that's helpful for other people as well, as we think about this sort of place between joy and excitement. Yeah.
thank you for the opportunity to think
you.
about that.
No, that's really touched me. Thank you. Hi, Rosemary. Good to see you.
Hi, Josh. Good to see you too, and thank you for this. I've been thinking a lot about. I've spent a lot of time performing, not non-professionally, in my life, and there's almost a euphoria that comes with that, and the contrast between that when you're performing and after, and practicing, which is so much harder, and I think would be more connected to joy. Yeah, there's just, as Gail was talking about, this is a grasping part of excitement. And yeah, and so just in thinking about my life and how I approach a lot of things, that there may be that excitement part that doesn't really last. And the energy that we were talking about, it doesn't feed energy.
Yeah.
But it's so appealing. And I think what Gail was getting at, what happens to the brain when I think performing is, for me, is a good example of that. So
I I'm thinking, about that addictive, you know, possibility of that being addictive behaviors, that we have around certain states of being. And as you say, the excitement is ephemeral.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
It's feeding something, feeding some
hmm,
need,
yes,
some pain, probably.
yeah. And I was thinking, about causes and conditions. So let's say, the fall of the Berlin Wall caused some excitement, I imagine, could describe it as excitement. So there's also that notion of causes and conditions creating certain behaviors. Suzuki Roshi says, always try to be calm and constant and keep yourself from excitement. But, there's instances of understandable excitement or relief or something. I'm curious about all of that too.
Yeah, and I like this reminder to to reflect when we're feeling that,
Yeah,
and I think maybe tone it down. Physically, for me anyway, physically. I'm working in physical therapy with a neck pain, and so they give me some things to do at home, and I really overdid it with my,
okay.
and I made it a bit worse.
Yes. Okay, I'm sorry to hear that. But you're laughing at yourself.
Absolutely, yeah. They're laughing at me too, but
You know what
yeah.
you're
So we're getting back to a middle way here with
uh,
allowing me to do some on my own, but very,
yeah,
like you said, it's the hand on the elbow, not the,
yeah.
yeah.
Because the hand on the elbow seems to me full of possibilities. It's not an instruction. It said, what would it be for you to enjoy your life? How would it be? And so then it has all sorts of beautiful possibilities,
It's open.
open to everybody in this inquiry because it'll be different for everybody. Because we all have different minds and worlds inside us. So, you're feeling your way through that beautifully. Um, and
Thank you. I'll remember this. That the hand on the elbow is the question of what, could you say it again?
well, it's an invitation.
Invitation
Like,
of,
let's say you're doing something that actually isn't going to be great for you. Your thing with your neck, and it's just like a little. Oh, you could pause. Could What would it be? Would it be helpful? Ask yourself the question.
that's huge.
Yeah, keep the questions open.
Okay,
Keep coming back.
I shall. Thank you so much.
Hi, Chris.
Hi, Josh. It's nice to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too.
Nice to see you. So I was just thinking, just very quickly about, I used to love fireworks,
Mm,
and to me, they were always like exploding flowers in the sky, you know,
mm, mm,
and the noise and the thrill. And then at some point, I became aware of the downside to it,
mm,
the effects on insects and birds and dogs and veterans. And I can't do it anymore. I can't go see fireworks anymore.
mm,
And so instead, I trained myself at some point to look more clearly at the flowers
mm,
that I saw so exuberantly and excitedly in the sky.
mm.
And so it's much quieter. And parts of me miss it sometimes, when I
Yeah, yeah.
hear it. But in the end, it's more than a fair trade.
That's such a skillful, beautiful way of finding beauty in something which gives you that same
Mm.
feeling. Yeah,
Thank you for your talk.
yeah. I sense a little sadness about the fireworks.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. These decisions we make.
Mm.
Yeah, that's a beautiful way to end the talk, actually, with the flowers, the beauty of what you see. Thank you so much.
Mm. Thank you, Josh.
Thank you. So I think we're almost through now with our beautiful time together. Unless there's anybody who wants to come up for a very quick meeting. It's only 1 minute. No, I think we're there. So let's move to the closing verses, the four practice principles, please. Caught in the self-centered dream, only suffering. Holding to self-centered thoughts, exactly the dream. Each moment, life as it is, the only teacher, being just this moment, compassion's way. Caught in the self-centered dream, only suffering. Holding to self-centered thoughts, exactly the dream. Each moment, life as it is, the only teacher, being just this moment, compassion's way. Caught in the self-centered dream, only suffering. Holding to self-centered thoughts, exactly the dream. Each moment, life as it is, the only teacher, being just this moment, compassion's way. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here this evening and supporting this beautiful community. And thank you, Ed, for making it possible by taking care of the airwaves for us. Over to you. Thank you, Ed.